Hey everyone, this is going to be a combination of ideas of sort, as it's kind of all hitting me at once. I'll explain this why I made this certain video. Today, I was catching up on several of my favorite shows. Under the Dome, the newest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, and Gravity Falls. And, if you're watching these same shows, then you probably realize what a profound effect they have on me at this point in time, as they all end on major shockers. We were close to season finales on all of them, so of course, right before them, we're gonna get majorly hit. And it was Gravity Falls that hit me the most, even though out of those three shows, it's probably the lightest. And I think that's because of the dedication and emotional depth that show can have. And I know I've probably gone on the show on and on and on. I probably just can't shut up about it on this series of mine, and I can't help it. It's just that good of a show. But to me, the main thing is I've watched both of those shows before coming to this one, is the amount of dedication. And as I'm seeing these episodes, I'm thinking in the back of my mind the latest Nostalgia Critic episode. Well, one before it, actually. Anyway, lately he talked about the nitpicking and whether, is too much or too little a big issue. I personally don't think it is. I think if you really see something obvious and a flaw, you can point it out. Like, okay, I'm probably rambling at this point, so I'll just skip to my main point. Gravity Falls is the kind of show where they would put an insane amount of detail in the background, and you probably won't notice it. There's so much stuff I haven't noticed, and it's been pointed out to me by smarter people who actually look at it frame by frame to find these little things. For example, on Tumblr, I just saw someone reblogging this several screenshots from the show where you can see triangles with Bill's eye in it, proving that, just as he said, he's always been watching. That freaked me out so much because you can see it in so many episodes. Just even the first one, you can find these little symbols anywhere. They're like on windows, on the things of lipstick, and these scenes, they go by. You're not thinking about it, you're not looking for these things, but they're there. And who would notice that except people who are extremely devoted to the show? And it makes me think, did they know people would be extremely devoted to the show, or did they just put it in, and fingers crossed to see someone sees it, or just doing it anyway for the sake of their own creativity, for their own storytelling devices? And personally, I think it's that. I think you can tell with Gravity Falls. With shows like that, you can tell there is a lot of love, a lot of dedication, and a lot of hard work to be put into that show, even if no one's not going to notice it. And to me, that says a lot. That you're willing to spend this much time on continuity, on backgrounds, on these little details, even if it doesn't pay out. That's the kind of dedication we need in more TV shows, so we can get invested in them. Now, I mentioned the other series, and for a reason. Spoiler alert, I guess. Probably should have said that earlier, but anyway. In Under the Dome, in one episode, they fire a gigantic missile bomb thing to try and destroy the dome. It doesn't work, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a show. And at the end of the episode, you can see all around the town, outside of the dome, everything is blackened and dead and destroyed by the bomb. But the next episode, when they're dealing with the rain shortage and stuff, we get another shot outside. The end of the episode to compare the rain inside the dome compared to the outside dryness. But outside there's trees and streets and plants. And they couldn't have just grown overnight. This episode actually kind of plays in on the same day, or at least the following day. So that's impossible. That's a major continuity error. I mean, for a bomb of that strength to annihilate everything around the dome, except maybe this little patch, that's impossible. And this is a major TV series. It's on a big network, and it was originally a novel by Stephen King. And there's a lot of people working on this project, and I can tell there's some hard work there. But the thing is, that's a huge error. I couldn't ignore it. I actually had trouble focusing on the rest of the episode because of that. I just couldn't ignore it. You would think, someone would point it out before, you wrap up production. And I don't understand it. And personally, I think if you're going to make a live action version of something, you need to put more detail in it, because we're going to notice it a lot more than we are in a cartoon, where in cartoons, you have a suspension of disbelief. You can easily, notice something is in the right color, or people have an extra arm or something, because, it goes by so quickly, and we're already paying attention to the absurdity of the world that we just accept it. But you can't do that with live action because, it's so ingrained with reality already, because, we see people that look like us. We see environments that look like, what we're used to. So again, to me that says the level of dedication behind these shows. Gravity Falls does it despite the fact people may not see it, and they do it because they care. And that gets rewarded in turn by these wonderful fans who are clamoring for the next episode. I personally can't wait. I'm on pins and needles. I almost cried because they lost the shack. I was so upset. But for Under the Dome, I didn't get that same effect. Because I can tell, with that shot of the green outside, I can tell they don't care as much. And despite one of my favorite characters being killed, and the situation gradually getting worse, there's not as much care for me. I don't care as much. I can't get ingrained because the producers and the artists and everyone behind it obviously aren't as ingrained as they could be. Now, both series still have a long way to go with more seasons and more episodes. But I thought this would be interesting to, let out there. Is dedication worth it if no one's going to see it? Absolutely. Because it all depends on how much you love your project. It shouldn't be about, the fan reaction. It should be about how much you care for what you do. Because when you care for what you do, it will show. And when it shows, people will respect you for it. And that's why, as of this moment, right now, I respect Gravity Falls. A kid's show, a cartoon, Disney, so much more than this, high production, live action miniseries by an author who I do love more than most authors. So yeah, that's just something to think about personally. So for, all you artists and people struggling, for those who are thinking, well, no one's ever going to notice this, I want you to think about what that means to you, what these little details mean to you. Do you care more about getting it out there and having it seen, or do you care more about what the project means to you? Because that's probably, what's best in the creative process overall. Well, I think I've rambled enough about this for one time, and God knows I'll probably ramble about Gravity Falls again. Best show ever. So all in all, I think I'll wrap it up by saying dedication and love for your craft will always pay off in the end. Because it will come back, kind of like karma. And I'll just end it on this note. I do recommend all three shows. Under the Dome, I read the book and I loved it. And the series does give you characters to care about and that sort of thing, even if there are major problems with it. It's still an enjoyable ride if you want to see the human condition fall apart on itself. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's also a great show for new or old fans because of the characters, of the comedy, of the bonding of family, and the cultural differences with America and Japan, which blend together nicely. And of course, as always, I majorly recommend Gravity Falls because it's just so much fun from start to finish. You have all these kinds of twists you'll never see coming. The humor is enjoyable, not just an adult or kid level. There's an excellent combination of both. I honestly want to get my parents watching it as soon as possible. I just need them to accept the fact that cartoons can still be for adults. Alright, I've had enough for one day. Have a magical day, everybody.